There's some super interesting new polling that I want to talk about the 2024 election and specifically about what Republicans are thinking. And the bottom line is Donald Trump's support is rapidly collapsing among Republicans who ultimately will decide, is Donald Trump the 2024 Republican nominee, or is it going to be someone else? Now, we have seen already in January two pretty sizable rallies and every indication that Donald Trump is going to continue doing more of them. In March, he'll be speaking at the Republican National Committee meeting, some kind of mini convention or event in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is a guy who wants to be involved in 2022, and he wants to use 2022 as a way to ultimately have the option to be the nominee in 2024 if he so chooses. Up until now, we've basically been saying the 2024 nomination is Trump's for the taking if he wants it. It's now a question mark, and we're going to look at some recent data which shows at least some Republicans seem to be getting sick of the guy. And this is a very, very different situation when one where it's Trump's if he wants it. The Associated Press reporting Trump facing legal and political headwinds as he eyes a comeback. And it references that video we showed you last week where Trump referred to himself on the golf course as the 45th and 47th president, sort of alluding to a 2024 run. And the article points out his popularity among Republicans is declining somewhat, with 71% saying they have a favorable opinion of Trump compared to 78 in September. But the new poll shows only a narrow majority of Republicans, 56%, want him to run for president in 2024. The poll found 44% do not want him to run. This is a very different situation to what we had throughout most of 2021, particularly the first part of the year. 56 to 44 among Republicans want him to run. That's basically 50-50. Now, of course, that's still fine for winning the primary in the sense that if 56% of Republicans support Trump and the other 44% support a bunch of other people, some Ron DeSantis, some whoever, right? Mitt Romney, Jeb Bush, Trump still wins with that. But these are dramatically lower numbers than we previously had. Another interesting article in the Washington Post, do Republicans love Donald Trump as they once did? Which writes his support within the party may not be quite as robust as it once was. And that is based on a lot of the same polling. This one, though, references a Washington Post University of Maryland survey completed at the end of last year, found that more than 6 in 10 Republicans say there is evidence of widespread voter fraud. Nearly 6 in 10 say Biden's election was not legitimate. More Republicans say they want Trump to run again in 2024 than they say want another candidate. But the margins, as we talked about, 50 down to 54 to 46. And then lastly, there is a Marquette University poll just looking at favorable versus unfavorable on Trump. And if you look now, you see that Trump's favorability is down to only 32%. 67% now have an unfavorable opinion of Donald Trump. Only 32% have a favorable opinion of Trump. So there is going to be a real question here as to whether this guy is actually viable. This is great news. Now, I don't want to praise Republicans for this. I saw some commentaries online saying Republicans are finally coming to their senses. No, they're not. Republicans are much the same as Donald Trump, where it's, what have I heard about recently? And because Donald Trump has been sort of out of the public spotlight for some period of time, I think this is mostly an artifact of that. If there's no real appealing alternative to Trump, I think it's completely reasonable and even likely that Donald Trump will be back before you know it and popular. But there's a very interesting kind of intermediate period here where if Trump's role in the 22 midterms is seen more as a nuisance rather than an advantage, and if some Trumpist candidates lose in 22, which is just 9 months from now at this point, and some new Republicans not at all connected to Trump win, it may just move the Republican Party into saying, I don't know, I think we're just kind of beyond Trump. There's nothing moral here where the Republicans have said, we cannot allow this again. That was really bad. It was bad for the country. It was bad for the world. It was embarrassing. This is not about that. This is just a sort of what have you done for me lately, top of mind type thing. And I think some Republicans are just kind of like, oh yeah, Trump, that guy. I don't really know that I want him to run again. And as we saw, even from the people we talked to at the Trump rally in Conroe, Texas over the weekend, it's not that these are reasonable Republicans. It's that they just seem to be thinking maybe it's time for somebody else. So we're going to keep watching these numbers really closely. But this is a significant shift away from Trump, at least in recent polling. It is a brand new year. Maybe you have goals around getting in better shape, maybe cutting back on sugar. That's why you should check out our longtime sponsor, Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon tastes exactly like the delicious sweet breakfast cereals you loved as a kid, but Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net carbs. So it's perfect if you're doing low carb or keto, or if, like me, you just try to limit your sugar intake. You can build your own variety pack with flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cinnamon, cookies and cream, waffle maple, blueberry. That's my favorite. Magic Spoon lets you enjoy a sweet, delicious snack without the guilt. You can stick to your goals and still treat yourself. And if you don't love Magic Spoon as much as I do, they'll give you all of your money back, no questions asked. Magic Spoon is giving my audience $5 off when you go to magicspoon.com/Pacman and use the promo code Pacman